It's my pleasure to be with you on this first day in your study of the law. It was 34 years ago that I sat in a room like this, and it's been a great ride. There are great friends to make and great things to learn, and it's all in front of you, but it's all there for you to grab hold of. We know that on this first day of orientation, you're trying to find your way around in time and space. You want to know where the classrooms are, what your schedule is going to be, where can you get a cup of coffee, where can you buy a blank CD when you're in a hurry. All those things you got to find out. But we want to orient you in another way. We want to take just a moment to talk to you about the nature of law and of justice and your role in it. We want to talk to you about things that typically lay people just don't know about what we do. For you see, when you look at the media portrayals of lawyers, when you look at the newspaper, when you look at ads, you could very easily think that the role of the lawyer is to tear everything down, that the lawyer is supposed to be Rambo, that the lawyer is supposed to scorch the earth. Indeed, not long ago in Florida, there was a lawyer whose symbol was a pit bull with a spiked collar, and his motto was, "We tear them to pieces." This lawyer was disciplined for that portrayal of what we do. And I want to tell you that his portrayal was wrong, and it's one that we want to get your minds off of early. We want to get you right now thinking in another direction, because we know that if you look back in time to the assizes in England, and assizes is a word, as you will come upon words in a place like this, that comes from the Latin assidio, which means to sit together. So the assizes were the courts that started circulating around England, deciding the cases at this place and that place. And as they went around, one of the first things they came to understand was the need for harmony in the law. They found out early that their decisions had to make sense, not just for the case that they were deciding in front of them, but from the decisions from this place and that place, that they had to work together. They had to be harmonious, or people would have disrespect for the law. And so what I want to tell you is harmony, not destruction, is what lies at the root of the law. And a lot of the law has a lot to do with you. Now you sit here, I'm first day, first year. Me? What can it possibly have to do with me? Let's take another little journey. Let's look back in time now to the assizes at Clarendon in the 11th century in England, where the right to jury trial was first implemented. Let's come on through time, coming up to Magna Carta, where the power of kings was limited by the noblemen who had their rights articulated. Let's come on through time to the English Bill of Rights in 1689, and the Virginia Statute of Bill of Rights in 1776 in June, and the Declaration of Independence in July 1776, and the Virginia Statute of Religious Freedom, and the U.S. Constitution in 1789. Guess what you're looking at? The struggles of mankind. You are looking at the articulations of people's desire to be free coming through time, and it was hard. It was hard to get to the America of the 21st century. It was a difficult struggle. Freedom is always a struggle. And what I want to say to you is that this is where you come in. This is where you got to get your mind right now, because here's what I know. It does not matter how beautiful the words on the page are, how lofty the phrases are. It can sound great, but if it's in the hands of people who are corrupt, it's going to be corrupt. If the law is in the hands of people who are going to be unfair, it's going to be unfair. Do y'all get it? It's the people who've made the difference. How do I know? Because under the same Constitution that we had today, I didn't have equal rights. I didn't have due process. I didn't have privileges and immunities. But courageous lawyers at some point said, wait a minute. Equal rights for all means all. Due process for all means all. And courts understood and said, wait a minute, we've been getting this wrong. And so the individual makes this difference in the struggle towards freedom, and that's why we got to come to you guys, because it's never going to be easy. And as I said before, if you are corrupt, the law is going to be corrupt. If you are biased, it's going to be biased. If you are hateful, it's going to be hateful. But on the other hand, if you're fair and you're just, then the law is going to be all those things as well. And this is where we come and say, please, this is what we need you to be for the good of the nation, indeed, for the good of the world, because people look to America now as they have in the past for what we do and what we say and how we implement the law. You guys will make the difference. And you say, again, me? I'm just starting out, but I know that in the blink of an eye, you'll be advising presidents of the United States, governors of your states. You'll be advising city councils. You'll be advising civic groups. You'll be drafting statutes. You'll be going to court fighting over the meaning of the law. You! It seems like it's so far away, but just like that, it'll be you. I was not even a decade out of law school before I was on the Supreme Court of Virginia. Just like that, it'll be you. And so if you don't have your mind wrapped around it right now, if you don't start out right now thinking about how you're going to come down, you might lose it all. Wouldn't it be terrible? After all these centuries of struggle, after all this debate, after all the riots, all the wars, all the protests, that it gets lost in your hands. This is something that we simply cannot allow. And so I want to say to you, because this doesn't take a long time, it never takes a long time to tell the truth, that I want you to remember forever that this guy talking to you today stood in front of you because of the law. Now, when I say that, I do not mean because I went to this law school. I don't mean because I passed the bar. I don't mean because I became a partner in Hunton & Williams and a justice of the Supreme Court of Virginia and a judge of the Court of Arbitration for Sport in Switzerland. That's not what I'm talking about. I mean that when I was born, it was against the law for me to be here. It was unlawful for me to talk to you. My views were quashed. My petitions were denied. My hope was set aside. But only because of courageous lawyers and judges did it turn around. And so the question is, where are you going to come down? What you going to be when the law is in your hands? And we hope, the UVA lawyers hope, that when your day comes, when your time comes, the words that are carved in stone, go out there and read them on the front of the building, will be in your heart. And those are the words that say that those alone may be servants of the law, who labor with learning, courage, and devotion to preserve liberty and to promote justice. That's your charge. I hope you can live up to it. Be a UVA lawyer. Be good and decent people. Make the world better.